Have you ever felt like your brain has about 1,000 tabs open at once? You're trying to work, but your phone is buzzing, emails are just piling up, and your focus is, well, it's completely gone. But what if there was a way to get that concentration back and actually turn it into a genuine superpower? Well, that is exactly what we're going to dig into today, using Cal Newport's game-changing idea, deep work.
Okay, so first things first, we have to understand this fundamental battle that's happening for our attention. Newport basically splits all the work we do into two big categories. On one side, you've got deep work. That's that state of pure, distraction-free flow, where you're tackling something really hard, creating something brand new, and just genuinely pushing your skills. And on the other side, that's shallow work, the endless churn of busy work. Answering emails, scrolling through feeds, logistical stuff, all the things that keep you occupied but don't really move the needle on what truly matters.
So why is this distinction such a big deal? Because in our incredibly noisy world, the ability to focus isn't just another skill, it's become a massive competitive advantage. Let's break down exactly why.
Newport's entire argument kicks off with a really simple but powerful observation that I think we all feel deep down. In a world of constant pings and notifications, true, uninterrupted focus is becoming incredibly rare.
And this is where it all clicks. Simple economics tells us that when something is rare, its value just skyrockets. The exact same thing is now true for human attention. Because so few people can actually cultivate deep focus, those who can become exponentially more valuable.
Newport himself just puts it perfectly. This isn't just some nice-to-have skill for a little productivity boost. No, he argues it's the defining skill for the people who will lead and innovate in the 21st century economy.
So practically speaking, what does mastering this skill actually unlock for you? Well, it's the ability to learn hard things and learn them fast. And it's the power to produce work at a truly elite level. When everyone else is stuck in the shallows, going deep makes you stand out instantly.
All right, so that's the why. We get it. It's rare, it's valuable, and it's pretty much essential. But how do you actually do it? Thankfully, Newport gives us a really clear playbook, and it's broken down into 4 actionable rules.
So here's our roadmap. We're going to talk about how to work deeply by building routines, why you actually need to embrace boredom, the, let's say, controversial case for quitting social media, and finally, how to drain the shallows from your day-to-day life.
Rule number 1 is all about building a routine, because deep work doesn't just happen by accident. The key is to find a philosophy that actually fits your life. There's no one-size-fits-all here. You could go full-on monastic, just eliminating distractions completely, or maybe you're more bimodal, splitting your week into deep days and shallow days. A lot of people really love the rhythmic approach, making deep work a daily habit, like setting aside 3 hours every single morning. And for those of you with really chaotic schedules, the journalistic method is perfect. It's all about seizing any pocket of free time you can possibly find.
Seriously, think about it. You're waiting in line, walking down the street, maybe just sitting on the couch for a minute. When was the last time you just did nothing instead of immediately reaching for your phone? This very question gets right to the heart of the second rule. Here is the counterintuitive truth. Your ability to focus is a muscle, and every single time you pull out your phone just to kill a moment of boredom, you're actually weakening that muscle. You're training your brain to crave constant new stuff. But by embracing those quiet, unstimulated moments, you're basically doing reps at a mental gym. You're training your brain to resist distraction, building the mental endurance you need for truly deep work. This brings us right to the controversial third rule, which really requires a total mindset shift. See, most of us ask, hey, could this social media app be useful? But the craftsman asks a much tougher question. Are the benefits of this tool so massive that they overwhelmingly outweigh the damage it does to my focus? When you frame it that way, and you're really honest about the cost of a fractured attention span, very few tools actually make the cut. And finally, rule number 4 is all about tackling that sea of shallow work. Now, the idea of scheduling your whole day sounds really intense, I know, but it's not about being some rigid robot. It's about being intentional. By giving every minute a job, even if that job is just take a break, you put a hard fence around those shallow tasks, like email, and you stop them from expanding and just eating your entire day.
And look, this isn't some new age productivity hack. The greatest minds in history have always understood this. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung literally built a stone tower, his Bollingen Tower, with no electricity, no running water, for the sole purpose of escaping the demands of his life and just thinking deeply. Or, for a more modern example, take Bill Gates. Even when he was at the height of running Microsoft, he famously took what he called think weeks.
He'd go off to a secluded cabin with a giant stack of books and papers, completely disconnected from the world, just to read and to think. The breakthroughs that came out of those weeks of pure, uninterrupted focus are legendary.
But the benefits of deep work go way, way beyond just productivity. This is where it really shifts from being a work strategy to a life philosophy. It fundamentally changes the relationship you have with what you do. That constant churn of shallow work, it might feel busy, sure, but it rarely feels meaningful. Deep work, on the other hand, it taps into this primal human need we have for craftsmanship and skill. It creates that psychological state of flow, and it generates a profound sense of purpose and pride in what you're creating. So let's bring this all together into a clear action plan. First, start by scheduling deep work sessions and treat them like they're sacred appointments you can't miss. Second, to make it easier to get started, build rituals and a dedicated workspace. Third, train that focus muscle by actively practicing boredom. Fourth, be ruthless in evaluating your digital tools with that craftsman mindset. And finally, fifth, control the shallows by scheduling your entire day to give every minute a job. And that really brings us to the final question I want to leave you with. And I mean it. Take a moment and really think about it. If you could reclaim even just a few hours a week for pure, uninterrupted, deep focus, what project would you finally finish? What skill would you master? What could you create? The potential is absolutely extraordinary.